In 2010, Karun Chandhok became the second Indian driver to compete in Formula One after the 26-year-old signed with new F1 team Hispania Racing. Chandhok first made a name for himself in motorsport when he became Formula 2000 Asia champion, making history as the youngest ever Asian Formula champion driving for Team India Racing. In 2006, Karun became the winner of the first ever Asian Formula Renault V6 Championship in dominating fashion by winning 7 out of the 12 races, setting more records along the way. In 2007, Karun joined the GP2 series, the official support series for Formula One, with Durango Racing. Karun Chandhok finally got the opportunity to prove himself in Formula One after new team Hispania Racing confirmed that the 26-year-old would race alongside Bruno Senna in the 2010 championship. Karun enjoyed a solid start to the 2007 season, scoring 14th place finishes in Australia and Monaco. Karun moved to England when he was 18 and now lives in Northamptonshire.
Well, firstly, thank you for taking time out and joining us. Just wanted to catch up with you, find out how it's going in Formula One.
Very busy, very chaotic. Always seem to be at an airport or on a plane these days, but I'm enjoying it. You know, life as a Formula One driver is something I've dreamt of my entire life. You know, that's all I've ever wanted to do. Never wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer or anything else. And you know, the ultimate, of course, is the actual driving of the cars, and you know, there's nothing like it on the face of the earth. But outside of the car, life is very busy.
So this is your first full season in Formula One. Yep. How's it going so far?
It's been a bit difficult, in all honesty, because you know, I've come into Formula One in unusual circumstances. I'm a rookie driver with a brand new team. You know, it's a team that's never competed in Formula One before. It's a team that's you know, we went straight to the first race without any testing pre-season, and you know, it was all a bit last minute. So the circumstances were a bit difficult. So it's been tough, but at the same time, you know, for me personally, it's gone very well. I've been very competitive against my teammate, and you know, generally the team seem very happy with the job I'm doing in the car, and you know, most importantly, other people from other teams seem quite impressed with the job I've done, and also with you know, the international media. They've all been very welcoming, which is always tough in Formula One, because you have a lot of specialist media who've been around for 25, 30 years. So you know, to have them on side is a great compliment.
So there's 3 new racing teams that have entered Formula One. Obviously Hispania is one of them. What's it like being a new team? How do you compare yourselves against like the Ferraris, the McLarens and the Red Bulls?
Well, you don't, in all honesty. We're too far behind the top teams to be in a position to compete with them at the moment. You know, you have to make baby steps. You know, every team has to start somewhere, and you know, normally at the back, and then you work your way forward. You know, as long as over a span of 5 years, you make progress and get in a position where by the end of year 3 you're scoring points, and then by the end of year 5 you can hopefully try and run at the front. And that's realistic. You know, it's unrealistic to expect anyone to come straight into Formula One and start scoring points, because it's just not going to happen. Formula One is too hard and too competitive a business with too many good teams and drivers for that to happen.
So I just want to take it right to the beginning. How did it all start?
Well, my father and my grandfather were in motorsport. My grandfather founded the Federation of Motorsports Clubs of India. He's been racing since his 50s. My father's been racing since 1972. So, you know, in India, family businesses is a big thing, and I guess this is ours. And I got into it from a very young age. As I said at the top of the show, I never wanted to do anything else. You know, any free time I had, I would be traveling with my dad on races or rallies all around the country, and that's all I was ever really interested in. So, you know, it started from a very young age.
Karun achieved tremendous success early in his motor racing career. However, to achieve his dream to be an F1 driver, he had to move to England.
Back in India, we had no go-kart tracks or races at that time. In the last 2-3 years, it's developed quite significantly, but back then there was nothing. I started racing actively in the National Racing Championship when I was 16, and I won the championship in my first year, and that set me off.
And then ever since then?
After winning the National Championship, the next step is obviously to go in your region, and I did Formula Asia, which is a Pan-Asian series, and it was my first sort of foray into international racing. and I won the Formula Asia Championship in 2001. And then, you know, at that stage, I knew, and my family knew, that if I wanted to fulfill my dream of being a Formula One, I have to be here. I have to be here in Europe and here in the UK. And so I moved, 18 years old, left all my family and friends behind and came to live in a little village called Brackley, just down the road from here, and started my European racing career.
So when you moved here, was it quite difficult from India moving over here, the different race cars, circuit, things
Yeah,
like that?
I mean, it's the level of racing and the level of professionalism and just the level of competition you face in Europe is so much higher than in Asia, just, you know, because it's such a rich history of the sport here. So it was incredibly difficult when I first came over to compete with, you know, first of all the weather and driving in the rain and, you know, cold icy days, and oh, it's horrible, you know, when you're here. I can't bear to be here December, January. I go back home to India. But, you know, you have to learn to drive in all these sort of conditions and to compete against, you know, future Formula One stars. So, yeah, it was an eye-opener. And also, you know, I didn't, like I said, I was 18 years old, didn't really know anybody, straight out of high school. Packed off 8,000 kilometers away from home and said, there you go, sunshine, go make a career out of it. But here we are.
In 2005, GP2 was introduced to make racing affordable for teams and to make it the perfect training ground for life in Formula One. GP2 has made it mandatory for all teams to use the same chassis, engine and tyre supplier, so the true driver ability is reflected. During his time with GP2 teams, Karun was able to impress prospective F1 employers.
I mean, GP2 is, today if you want to go to Formula One, GP2 is well and truly established as the best stepping stone to Formula One. Here in 2010, obviously, you know, if you look at the grid, 50% of the grid has come from GP2. You know, and that says it all, really. And so it was a very, very tough championship because the best drivers from Formula 3 from all over Europe and the world, you know, Japan, Asia, Germany, France, the UK, whatever, they all get together to do GP2. You know, and any junior level formula can't win races and in places like Monaco and here at Silverstone and Spa in Belgium, you know, so to have the opportunity to have been at the front of that, and you know, that really made a huge difference to my career.
Speed, technology and glamour of Formula One racing has attracted people from all over the globe. However, Karun has just set his sights on winning at F1.
You know, it's a perception, yeah. It's that F1 is glamorous. It is glamorous. It does attract, you know, a lot of, you know, nice-looking women and nice-looking cars to a race weekend. But that's, you know, that's the public side of it. You know, for me, each person is different. For me, on a Sunday evening, all I want to do is get to the airport and get home. You know, I never stay for the Sunday night after party, apart from Monaco, because it's a bit different, a bit special. But you're just so exhausted by the weekend. Not physically, but mentally, because for 4 days you've been, you know, you're working flat out every minute. You're concentrating 200% to make sure you're strong and competitive at the weekend. By Sunday after the race, you're just mentally drained, and all I want to do is just go home and turn my phone off, turn my email off, not talk to anybody for a couple of days, you know. So, yeah, I mean, it is a glamorous sport, and it does attract, like I say, all sorts of people. But you know, that's not why I'm in it.
So, when you're travelling back or in between countries, do you have a private jet?
No,
do you travel with it like everyone else?
No. But I mean, I even I flew EasyJet to the last race. You know, I mean, for me, it's just, you know, yes, sometimes we do get chartered aircrafts and private jets, but you know, for me, whatever's the quickest way for me to get home or get to where I need to go, just convenience. I'll fly anything.
Excellent. So I saw you pull up in the car park just over behind us, and you pull up in a Passat.
Yeah.
I was expecting a big Lamborghini or a Ferrari or something along that lines. Where is it? Is it at home in the garage?
No, it sounds a bit bizarre, but I actually have no interest in road cars. For me, I drive a Passat because it's what, you know, like I said, T-Sport who sort of look after me. I called them from India one day and said, look, I'm coming back to the UK, I need a car, just buy something so I have something when I arrive, and it's a company car. So I really don't care. It just gets me from A to B. At the end of the day, I drive for a living. I drive at 350 kilometers an hour. On some of the best race circuits in the world. How excited can I be doing whatever you do in a road car on the street? So yeah, it confuses a lot of my friends, because when I go back home, there'll be a friend of mine who will show up in a Porsche or a Ferrari, something. Oh, you gotta have a go, tell me. And they're like waiting for you to get excited and say, it's fantastic. And they're all nice cars, but it's very hard for me to get excited about it.
JK Tyres have been associated with Karun since his early motor racing career in India.
When I started out, I had a company, JK Tyres, who backed me when I was just starting out in the sport. And they're with me even today in Formula 1, 10 years later. And, we've had other sponsors come and go, and some stayed longer than others. And, it is very difficult to attract the sponsorship you need out there. For the average Joe, like I said, I'm working along with, especially with JK Tyres and Amaron, my other partners. Amaron have started a karting championship and almost a low-price karting initiative to get kids to start go-karting in India. JK Tyre have started what we call the Junior Cup, which is a low-level entry formula racing for young kids to get started in formula cars. Again, subsidized budgets and things like that. So, they are making steps, and I try and work with them to try and make it happen.
Excellent. So coming back to Formula 1, and here at Silverstone, we can hear the cars going around us. We usually see this really busy on race weekends.
Yep.
And when people see you, when you're driving by them, what's going through your mind when you see all these people and you're living the dream of what you've always wanted to do?
I'm sort of looking at the circuit rather than the people, to be honest. But no, Silverstone's a special weekend because I've lived here for so long. Because I used to work here at the race school. I think I'm the only employee of Silverstone to be racing at the moment in Formula 1, or ex-employee of Silverstone. It's a great weekend. I went on they had the post Grand Prix concert, and I went up on stage. There was 10,000 people there, and all very supportive, very appreciative, and I have a lot of support out here. When we did the driver's autograph session, there was a huge crowd outside our garage and things like that. So, I feel very privileged to be in Formula 1. To be in a group of 24 drivers in the world who get to compete in it is special. And it's nice to see that we're slowly building a fan base outside of India as well.
And it's getting easier or difficult. So the cars nowadays have more technology. You've got more safety regulations and restrictions. And if you rewind back, let's say 10, 15 years ago, it used to be a completely different story, didn't it? Have you driven one of the older cars or compared?
Yeah, I have actually. Very recently, I went to the Goodwood Festival of Speed, and I drove Keke Rosberg's 1982 championship-winning Williams. And it was a fantastic experience, amazing car with, just so raw, so pure, so unelectronic, just today we have so many gizmos and so many buttons on the steering wheel and all these things to play with that make the cars, quite different. They're more sort of controlled and more, I don't know what the word is, I suppose, finely tuned, whereas the old ones are just like raw animals, they were really special feeling to drive such a car, very, you do appreciate how brave those guys had to be back then with the safety standards they had.
Karun believes the Formula 1 Championship is in great shape and could not be more exciting. The final chapter of the 2010-2011 series will be written in Abu Dhabi, where one of 4 men will be crowned world champion: Ferrari's Fernando Alonso, Red Bull Racing's Sebastian Vettel or Mark Webber, or McLaren's Lewis Hamilton. Alonso leads the chase with 246 points, followed by Webber with 238, Vettel with 231, and Hamilton with 222.
I don't think Formula 1 is ever boring. This year, for example, you have one of the best world championships in history, I think. You've got 5 or 6 drivers who could all win the World Championship. You got 3 new teams of Formula One. You got a very exciting midfield battle. We're going to fantastic locations, places like Singapore, Abu Dhabi, which are new, modern venues, as well as places like Silverstone, Monaco, Spa, with huge history. So I think Formula One is in fantastic shape. I think it is a great sport, and it always has been a great sport.
India will stage its first ever Formula One Grand Prix in 2011. The race will be held in New Delhi, and Karun is keen to be a part of the race and to compete well.
Well, we'll see. Obviously, this year we have a 1-year contract with Hispania Racing, and we'll see where we go for 2011. We're going to Delhi. The World Championship is going to Delhi next year for the first time to race at the Grand Prix there, and I'm really optimistic, I should say, and hopeful that I will be on the grid for that race. And I think that'll be fantastic to be the first Indian to be on the grid for your home Grand Prix. Will be a very special feeling.
And there's rumours and links with Force India?
At the moment, they're just rumours. In all honesty, I can't see us working together in the near future. Who knows, a few years down the road, but I can't see that happening in the near future. So
this 1-year contract, will that be extended?
We don't know. We have a few options with. We're speaking obviously to Hispania about 2011, and we both seem quite happy with each other. We've got to just make sure it's right for everybody. But we've got a couple of other options up and down the pit lane.
So just for 2010, you've had some great races, and you've been finishing at some good positions as well. But recently, you haven't been racing. Why is that?
Well, obviously the team being a new team in Formula One, as I said, we came straight to the first race without any testing. So, but we're not in a position where we're fighting for race wins or the World Championship. So the team said sort of they know what I can do. They've seen that over half a season now, and the second half of the year they want to rotate the drivers around. They've got 4 drivers on a contract, and they want to try and use all 4, and just for them, to get an idea. They know what I can do. They just want to see what other options are there for them for 2011. So they're just planning ahead a little bit. It's not ideal for me as a driver. Of course, you want to be driving all the time, but it's a team decision, and you have to support that.
So you've proven yourself, and they just want to see what the other drivers can bring.
Yeah, of course. They have to fill 2 seats for next year, not just 1. So even if I were in one, they'd have to fill the other one with somebody. So it's more sort of an evaluation for 2011.
Well, thank you very much for taking time out doing this interview. I'm sure our viewers out there would appreciate it. Anyone or final few words you'd like to give to our viewers?
No, it's just hopefully we can have a lot more support from the British Asian community. I hope a lot of them come to Silverstone next year, and we had a lot of Indian flags actually this year, and hopefully we'll see a few more in 2011.
Excellent. Thanks very much, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you.